UNDAF Overview 2021. The United Nations Country Team in the Kyrgyz Republic. In 2021, the UN agencies in Kyrgyzstan continued to work together, demonstrating significant flexibility to emerging needs of country development priorities, including response to COVID-19 pandemic, joint support to Batken Oblast, in response to multiple crises, and legal inventory and review process, among others. The UN was at the forefront of response to the pandemic, providing support to the government on containment and mitigation, as well as addressing secondary impacts of COVID-19. During 2021 to 2022, the total budget of UN agencies supporting COVID activities was $32.8 million. Key successful interventions: 14 technical missions, including capacity building activities for the health workforce on COVID-19 specific topics. Establishment of the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Support to develop integrated epidemiological information management and early warning platform. Development of laboratory information system and unified database for laboratory data for all the disease of interest. 4 rounds of a behavioral insight survey to assess risk perception, protective behavior, and COVID-19 vaccination hesitancy. Support to the Ministry of Healthcare's communication campaign, Green Zone. Technical assistance to the Ministry of Healthcare in drafting of the national COVID-19 vaccine deployment plan. The government received 3,240,200 doses of COVID-19 vaccines through COVAX. The 118 hotline, supported during the summer surge, accepting up to 2,000 calls per day. UN's joint engagements. Legal inventory in 2021. Period, July to December 2021. Budget, $947,159. Number of meetings with stakeholders, 15 roundtables, 3 meetings with civil society, 3 meetings with development partners. Number of legal acts that were reviewed by consultants, 117 laws. The majority of this assistance was channeled to technical support. 36 national legal experts were commissioned by the UN to assist the Ministry of Justice and other public institutions. 117 laws were assessed with the help of these experts. Gender, human rights, and anti-corruption expertise by UN experts was provided on 116 laws, 1/3 of the whole package of laws, undergoing legal inventory. Support to youth in 2021. Budget, $901,996. Number of successful interventions, 81. Number of trained people, 8,163. Number of meetings with stakeholders, 50. Youth is one of the key programmatic foci for the UN system in the Kyrgyz Republic. In 2021, as the result of UN initiatives, 3,613 young people were trained in digital skills, sustainable development, sexual and reproductive health, healthy lifestyle, climate action, destigmatization, and mental health, including through launching innovative online platforms. The second cohort of the National SDG Youth Ambassadors have successfully promoted the SDGs among peers. Response to conflict incidents in Batken. Budget 2021, $3.4 million, including non-UN humanitarian actors. Budget from UN agencies 2021, $2.1 million. Number of successful interventions, 68 different response activities. The total budget for support in Batken is more than $3.4 million. 22 members and partners of DRCU work with 8 sectors that receive support. Shelter NFI, $145,980. Early recovery, $230,000. Education, $143,950. WASH, $67,750. Food security, $719,706. Health, $362,004. Multi-sector, $1,322,931. Protection, $450,361. Peace and Development 2021. Kyrgyzstan's re-eligibility to the UN Peacebuilding Fund for $4.5 million for 2 UN projects. Design of the PBF Strategic Results Framework, 2021 to 2026. Supported to the Kyrgyz Jereni's Action Plan, and contributed to the design of the Civic Identity Policy Action Plan. The Peace and Development Advisor Team coordinated the scenario planning exercise and supported common country analysis. Supported the finalization of the Regional Risk and Resilience Assessment, carried out jointly with World Bank and FCDO. Coordinated the UN Peace and Development Dialogue Group, comprised of technical staff of UN agencies, working in peace building and human rights. The Peace and Development Advisor coordinated the process of Kyrgyzstan's re-eligibility to the UN Peacebuilding Fund, including strengthening partnership with the government. Under the RC's guidance, the PDA team has supported the program design process for the UNCT, enabling mobilization of $4.5 million for 2 projects for UN, and 1 project for the CSO from the PBF. UNDAF Priority 1, Sustainable and Inclusive Economic Growth, Industrial, Rural, and Agricultural Development. Planned budget, $24.2 million. Available funds, $19.4 million. Delivery, $15.7 million. 27,003 food insecure households, supported in 2021. 558 community infrastructure projects were rehabilitated, by creating temporary employment to 20,629 families, through asset creation modality, while organizing 233 trainings, to improve the livelihoods of 6,374 vulnerable families, via the Human Capital Building projects. E-Platform Buy from Women KG, was created to provide women entrepreneurs from rural areas, the opportunity to market their businesses and products. Currently, the e-Platforms database consists of 1,159 women, and profiles of 300 women entrepreneurs. 39 beneficiary textile and clothing companies, including 34 women-led, were supported. They reported an overall total export of $15 million in 2021. 2 technical assistance programs, TAPS, for SMEs and for laboratories, testing, calibration and industry, were launched, focusing on selected companies of the UNCT cool fruits value chain, to strengthen their capacity to comply with international quality requirements. Priority 2, Good Governance, Rule of Law, Human Rights, Gender Equality. Budget, $9.5 million. Available funds, $12.2 million. Delivery, $8.6 million. In 2021, UN continued to support the Parliament, key ministries and agencies. LSGs have ability and instruments to effectively draft and implement evidence-based policies and legislation in compliance with international human rights and gender equality standards, and deliver effective, accountable and inclusive public services. For local elections, 274 women trained, out of which 126 women were elected in local councils, as Kyrgyzstan achieved gender quota, to have 38% of women in the local councils. For parliamentary elections, 183 women candidates were trained, to improve knowledge on electoral legislation, and develop public speaking skills. 17 free legal aid centers were supported, which provided 4,859 consultations to 2,557 citizens including 1,464 women, and 59 people with disabilities. Centralized database of legal acts of the Ministry of Justice was upgraded with 146,905 documents, and 118,856 bylaws. In Batken, Chue, Ash, and Naran provinces, the renewed concept of nationwide Bus of Solidarity campaign was conducted, to raise legal awareness of women and girls. Trained attorneys and social workers provided legal advice to more than 1,146 citizens, 70% of whom were women. The preparation of the National Gender Equality Strategy, for 2021 to 2030, was assisted. A network of 14 lawyers, specializing in trafficking in persons cases, in partnership with the Bar Association's Training Center, to offer free legal aid to trafficking in person victims, was established. Priority 3, Environment, Climate Change, and Disaster Risk Management. Planned budget 2021, $14.5 million. Available funds, $9.6 million. Delivery, $9.8 million. The hallmark of 2021 under this priority area was Kyrgyzstan's submission of nationally determined contributions, NDCs, to UNFCCC in October 2021. It included unconditional and conditional emissions reduction targets of 15.97% by 2030 and 43.62% by 2030 respectively. UN, together with other partners, supported a whole-of-government and whole-of-society approach to develop NDC, under the Climate Promise Program, through capacity building, to strengthen coordination and engagement of all stakeholders, at national and subnational levels. Budget for 2021, $350,000. Number of successful interventions. Interministerial working group meetings, 2 extended meetings with 11 ministries. 22 technical sectoral meetings, agriculture, industry, energy, health, biodiversity, emergency waste, statistics, SDG tools, gender. Trainings on climate diplomacy for MFAs of Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, 6 sessions in 3 weeks. 15 information campaigns including 7 regions. 5 awareness-raising campaigns for civil society, roundtables, exhibition, art performance. 2 roundtables for private sector. Youth climate conferences, 1 national and 6 sub-national with more than 3,000 young participants. 3 regional climate dialogue, in Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. 2 meetings with development partners. Mission 1.5, online game, up to 10,000 participants from Kyrgyzstan. Priority 4, social protection, health, and education. Planned budget 2021, $21.8 million. Available funds, $21.5 million. Delivery, $21.5 million. Support social protection system, in its capacity to provide inclusive social assistance, care services, and productive inclusion measures. In response to the government request to support crisis-affected vulnerable people, an effective partnership with the Ministry of Labor, Social Security and Migration was established to realize 489 community-based projects through cash assistance for assets and cash assistance for training activities. Over 21,326 vulnerable families affected by COVID-19 crisis participated in cash-based transfer projects across 23 urban and peri-urban locations, and received about $2.13 million as cash assistance. With UN financial and technical support, the government repatriated 79 children affected by armed conflict from Iraq. In 2021, 311 vulnerable migrants were assisted. Countrywide immunization services, including against COVID-19, especially in remote settlements, were resumed by supporting establishment of 75 mobile immunization teams, which vaccinated 173,180 persons, including 155,654 children in 2021. The government was supported in receiving 3,240,200 doses of COVID-19 vaccines through COVAX and distributing them to all regions. 30 cubic meters of a cold room was established. 8 refrigerated trucks were procured for each province. Evaluations and lessons learned. In 2021, the evaluation of UNDAF provided the following recommendations that will follow with UNDAF evaluation management response: improve UNDAF's results framework and results-based management practices, strengthen the interagency coordination and cooperation infrastructure, strengthen joint planning and implementation, strengthen UN's programmatic offer, step up resource mobilization, step up engagement with the government, civil society, and private sector, strengthen tracking of pilots, and focus on policy implementation. Total budget for 2021 was planned to be $72.7 million. UN system raised funds for $63.7 million, and delivered for $57.5 million. It was planned to raise $221 million for the entire UNDAF cycle, but in fact, over 4 years, UN agencies were able to mobilize $316 million, which exceeds the planned amount by 43%, and implemented projects worth $201 million out of $316 million, or 64%.